All right, welcome back, you all, to another fun-filled and exciting show. I'm your host. He is Blanchard, aka Free Blanche, aka Blanstradamus, aka B Diddy. Anyway, B Diddy, but no Diddy. You know what I mean? Let's make that clear. B Diddy, no Diddy. Um, Today's title is Can I Borrow a Penny? Today's title is Can I Borrow a Penny? So there was a case, I want to say it was last year, with Richard Penny and Jordan Neely. And basically, here goes a problem. One of the main problems is anytime there's a situation where there is a black person and a white person, the black person automatically assumes the victim position. So there's already a built-in programming, built-in propaganda to when there's a dynamic between a white person and black person, the black person is automatically in the victim position. Whether they're the culprit, the aggressor, the criminal, the assailant, it doesn't matter, the guilty. If there's a situation where there is a white person and a black person, it is always assumed that the black person is a victim, even when they're victimizing the white person. So this case, I want to believe, happened last year. And of course, they refused to show you a picture of how this young man looked in his current state. All they show you is the Michael Jackson pictures and stuff to make him seem innocent. This is all propaganda. This is what they do all this. They do it with George. They did it with George Floyd. Anytime there's a black person and they have to show them in their true light on the media, they won't. They'll always go back to a young, say with Trayvon Martin, they always pick a young picture for a reason to make them seem innocent. My thing is, if the person is so innocent and they're so pure and so right in the situation, then show how they really look. But you can't. What folks don't want to admit is that a person's criminal past matters. A person's criminal history matters. Because what I've learned in my life, that most people that commit crimes in the past commit crimes in the present. History has shown me, experience has shown me that 99% of people that commit crimes in the past commit crimes in the present. So you can tell somebody else that nonsense, but not me. I know. I grew up in the environment. I'm around it. I know it. So the wool may be put over the liberals' eyes, but not my eyes, because I know. Most of these people that commit crime when they are younger, they do it when they're older. Maybe not to to that degree, but they still are involved in criminal activity and still around criminals. And it's very hard to find some unbiased media on this. Shout out to Arizona State Sun Devils. Shout out to being picked last in the Big 12 and ending up winning the Big 12. Let this be a lesson to all of you all out there. Now, this is not going to be a message they give to black people. They don't like black folks to believe they can overcome the odds, slay Goliath, defeat the dragon. So this message is for those that have an open and optimistic mind. Arizona State got picked to be last in the Big 12 preseason predictions, and they ended up winning the Big 12 and getting a playoff berth with a possible bye during the first round. I mean, won't he do it? So to me, it's motivation. Thank you, Angel Wings. To me, it's motivation for anybody in life. Just because somebody counts you out doesn't mean you're out. Just because all the experts come together and say that you're going to be last doesn't mean it's true. This is the message they refuse to give to Black people. I'm going to start calling this the Arizona State message. All of the experts, all the analysts, all of the who's in college football, they all said that one thing we know for certain, we don't know who's going to win, but we know who's going to be last. And their definite unanimous last was Arizona State. And Arizona State not only won the Big 12, but they also made it to the playoffs. Now imagine only winning 3 games last year, 2 or 3 games last year, and you turn around, you make the playoffs this year and win the Big 12 all in 1 year. I'm telling you all today, just because the experts count you out, it does not mean that you are out. Just because people come together and they all agree that you're not going to make it, it doesn't mean you're not going to make it. It all depends on how you view yourself. That's what matters, not how they view you, how you view yourself. And so that means that the resiliency that the Arizona State football team has is the resiliency that Black people don't. Because Black people are told that they can't succeed, they can't make it, and they believe it. Because the media agrees with it, Hollywood agrees with it, social media agrees with it, the experts agree with it, politicians, like everybody agrees that Black folks can't make it without the assistance of the government and the assistance of white people and the assistance of anybody that wants to help. And so I just wanted you all to look at Arizona State as a source of motivation. The last shall be first, and the first shall be last. Amen. It's funny how Black folks read that Bible but never get the messages. It's very hard to find articles that are unbiased on this Jordan Neely, Daniel Penny. I might have said Richard Penny earlier. I'm sorry. Daniel Penny case. Neely, who was often homeless, usually attempted to earn money by impersonating singer Michael Jackson, according to Fox 5 News New York. Street performers who were acquainted with the man claimed that he became depressed after his mother's murder in 2007. Now, I want you all to know that a Black man murdered his mother and stuffed her in a suitcase. They don't even mention that. A Black man murdered his mother and stuffed her in the suitcase, a suitcase. But they got all the smoke for the white man, but not the Black man that killed his mother and stuffed her in the suitcase. This boy was 14 years old. This boy was 14 years old when this happened. Traumatized for life. They don't even mention it. They don't even mention it. Let's continue. At the time of his death, Neely had an open warrant for his arrest in relation to a violent attack on an elderly woman. As ABC reported last May, Neely pleaded guilty to assaulting a 67-year-old woman leaving the subway station in 2021. Before his death, Neely was also under investigation for allegedly pushing someone onto the subway tracks. The 30-year-old man had been arrested over 40 times for multiple assaults, attempted child abduction, drugs, and indecent exposure. They're trying to make you believe that this man was a saint. They keep saying he didn't attack somebody that day. His history shows that when he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. He attacked an elderly woman, assaulted a 67-year-old woman, pushed somebody on the tracks, tried to kidnap a child, like, again, a menace to society. What they want you to do is turn a blind eye to this crime that Black folks commit, because these communists and these globalists, these Marxists, want to weaponize the criminal element in society. They want to unleash the criminals to terrorize society so that people like you and I go to the government and beg them for protection. And when we beg the government for protection, they're going to come in and take away all of our rights. That's the goal. Get rid of the police, release the criminals. We beg for help and mercy. Now you got martial law. That's what they want. They want full control, and they want to use the Bliggities to do it. They want to use the Bliggities to do it. Can I borrow a penny? If I had a penny for my thoughts, I'd be a rich man. This man, this young man, was a menace to society. Once a person starts attacking the elderly and the children, it's over. But what they want to do is wait for him to actually kill somebody so they can go ahead and blame the system and not him. So they can go ahead and blame you and not him. Because they're going to say, why didn't anybody help? Why didn't anybody intervene? Where were the police? What's the mayor doing? What are the city officials doing? What are the social workers doing? Who's this caseworker? What are the doctors doing? That's what they want. And you see what happens when they don't get what they want. You see what happens when he wasn't allowed to take somebody else's life. You raise all this hell about Richard Penny. Why do I keep saying Daniel Penny? Why do I keep saying Richard Penny? I don't know why I keep saying Richard Penny. Daniel Penny. I don't know why you call him Richard. Daniel Penny, I'm sorry. And on top of that, indecent exposure. So again, these are just facts about the case. And I'm trying to find eyewitness accounts label Neely's behavior traumatic. One 38-year-old witness from Brooklyn who testified last month during Penny's trial described Neely's behavior as satanic. And it makes sense that he probably was possessed by a demon. The woman remembered Neely making threats that were very traumatic and very believable, and that she feared she was about to die, as ABC 7 reported last month. I assume that he was having some sort of mental breakdown, the witness said. Another witness, an 18-year-old high school student, Marlene Sanchez, testified that she felt relief when she saw Penny place Neely in a chokehold. Even though the veteran had Neely restrained, Sanchez said she still felt scared. The teenager testified that she did not think Neely would follow through on his threats. When the defense asked Sanchez if she didn't think Penny was holding the man too tightly, she replied, yes. In a 911 call prosecutors played for the court, Sanchez is heard telling 911 operator he's trying to attack everybody, referring to Neely. The girl also told the operator they're holding him down right now. The teenager also took a video of emergency personnel treating Neely, and Sanchez is heard saying about the man, oh my God, he's not breathing. Another video played during the court proceedings showed Penny's interview with detectives from the New York Police Department. In the video, Penny is heard telling officers that he did not intend to hurt Neely and that he had been trying to stop the man from hurting the passengers. Johnny Grima, another witness and former homeless man, testified that he thought it was weird that Penny stopped him from pouring water on Neely's head. Grima had noticed Neely lying on the floor and had wanted to help. In a May interview with the Gothamist, Grima described his willingness to testify and stated that he hoped Penny would be convicted and receive the maximum sentence. Now, keep in mind, this guy Grimmer didn't care about the woman being attacked. Think about this now. Think about how everybody wants to see white people held accountable. The counter of that is that you don't want to see anybody else held accountable. So this other homeless guy says, I hope that Daniel Penny gets the maximum sentence, but I didn't hope that the person that was actually attacking innocent people got the maximum sentence. Do you see my point? Do you see how he would turn a blind eye to nearly pushing someone on the subway tracks to die, but he has all the smoke for Daniel Penny, who was saving passengers? This is what they want. They want you to embrace the criminal, and they want you to demonize those that would help, i.e. white people, because we know that other than white folks, nobody else is going to step in and save the day. Nobody. Most of your black superheroes, they stay and they don't venture out. Black Panther live in Wakanda. I think Storm, she came over there through an exchange program to be with the X-Men, but most of the black superheroes stay in their neighborhood. They don't try to save the world. The white superheroes try to save the whole galaxy, the whole universe, not the black ones. Not the black ones. They had to go drag in the Avengers movie. They had to go drag T'Challa from Wakanda to help the Avengers. So again, if there's ever a problem in the world, white people are going to come to the rescue. If there's ever a catastrophe, if there's a place where people are starving, hit with a natural disaster, with a place with high homicide rates and crime and disease and sexual assault, all that, white people show up. Nobody else. White folks show up. If you go anywhere in the world where there's poverty, disease, death, and destruction, you're going to see white folks not just there, living there, helping the people. Y'all wouldn't do it. Matter of fact, I'm going to show y'all a case in Philadelphia. A lady got essayed in front of the train, in front of black folks. They didn't do nothing. I'm going to put it up right now. I'm going to show you right now how a woman got essayed on the train in Philly and black folks didn't do nothing. I'm just going to pull it up. I'm going to read it after this one. On Philadelphia train, and the black folks didn't do nothing. Didn't do a word, right in front of everybody. I got it. And they pulled their phones out. Not only did black folks not do nothing, they pulled their phone out. So again, we're gonna talk about what they really want. And again, white people will always get demonized because they dare step in to make things right. I don't care what y'all say. You have no proof to refute what I'm saying. Zero. On that train, nobody black was going to stop Jordan Neely. Nobody. All the black folks come out to go after the white man, not the black man. And again, Jordan Neely's mother was killed by a black man and stuffed in a suitcase, starting this young man's trauma. A black man did that. Shh, be quiet. Don't say that. Dr. Cynthia Harris, the medical examiner who performed Neely's autopsy, was one of several witnesses to testify last month during the trial. The doctor had ruled Neely died of compression to the neck or asphyxia. As CBS News reported on November 15th, Harris testified that Neely had a sickle cell trait that is typically benign. In the medical examiner's opinion, Neely being in a low oxygen situation resulted in his death. While a toxicology report showed that Neely had a synthetic cannabinoid known as K2 in his system, Harris told the jury that no one can say how much because current testing cannot measure it. Witnesses and responding officers remember Neely having a pulse despite having been in a chokehold. As CBS News reported, Harris claimed that this isn't abnormal, stating that it is an asphyxial death. The brain dies first. According to the New York City Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, the side effects of K2 are often unpredictable because the chemicals used can vary from packet to packet. The adverse health effects associated with K2 include paranoia, rapid heart rate, kidney failure, vomiting, reduced blood supply to the heart. During the defense's cross-examination, Harris stood by her original assessment, insisting that even if Neely had enough fentanyl in the system to take down a small elephant, she would not change her opinion. Harris did agree, as CBS News notes, that medical examiners often disagree on the cause of death, conceding that the science is not always perfect. You heard this woman just say it. This woman just said, if Jordan Neely had enough fentanyl to kill a small elephant in his system, I still wouldn't change my cause of death. So that means, in other words, I'm sticking by this because this is what they want me to say. We all know that drugs play a part, especially when the heart rate is accelerated. Especially when the heart rate is accelerated. Especially in fight or flight mode. This woman just said, if he had enough fentanyl in his system to make him overdose, I still wouldn't change what I said. So that means she don't care about science. She don't care about facts. She don't care about truth. She's going to stick with what the media wants her to say. Just like when they told you, no matter what you die from, you could have had 2 weeks to live in hospice. And if the person got the Peter Pandemic at the time of death, we're going to mark down Peter Pandemic. Person could have came into the emergency room, shot 17 times. But if they had a positive Peter Pandemic test, they died from the Peter Pandemic. So we already know how science works. Defense expert question cause of death. Late last month, the defense called Dr. Satish Chandru to testify as an expert witness. The Texas forensic pathologist disagreed with Harris's opinion that Neely died from a chokehold. Chandru highlighted several discrepancies during his testimony, according to WABC TV. One of the problems with the chokehold death assessment, according to Chandru, is that Neely did not fall unconscious first. A chokehold death happens in 2 phases, he testified. The first phase is unconsciousness, followed by the death of the person who was choked. Chandru said he reviewed the cell phone video footage of the incident on the subway that he doubts Neely died from a chokehold. According to Chandru's assessment, Neely died from the combined effects of synthetic marijuana and schizophrenia. He also argued that Neely struggling against the restraint combined with the health condition he suffered from also led to the man's death. Prosecutors questioned Chandru's credibility due to the 600-hour rate he charges as a consultant, WABC TV notes. Following the forensic pathologist's testimony, Dr. Michael Baden, a former New York City medical examiner, told Fox News that Chandru may have been interesting, but contended that it was wrong. Chandru described what can happen in sickle cell disease, not what happens in sickle cell trait, which Neely had. Baden said 8% of Black people in this country have sickle cell trait, which is a benign medical condition that rarely causes any symptoms, let alone death. Baden stated that it takes days for sickling to occur, comparing it to post-mortem condition rigor mortis. He did argue, however, that even if a chokehold did cause Neely's death, that does not necessarily prove Penny's actions were criminal. The individual circumstances are important as to whether the death could or should have been avoided, and whether the death should be prosecuted, which is entirely up to the prosecutor, Baden said. So common sense tells us that when a person is what they call choked out. So if you remember the movie Friday, Debo was choking Craig and he's telling him to go to sleep. So we know that chokeholds result in even in wrestling, as fake as it is, when they choke them, they go to sleep. So we all in MMA, when they're choking them, they tap out so they don't go unconscious. So we know that choking is followed by being unconscious. The fact that Jordan Neely was not unconscious should let you know that he did not get choked to death. It's common sense. Yes, Angel Wings. George Floyd 2.0. Because these people know that the chokehold is a way to subdue a person to make them stop. So they want to outlaw and ban chokeholds so that you can't restrain someone. Again, they want the criminal element to terrorize law-abiding citizens. These globalists, these communists, these Marxists want to use the criminal element of society to terrorize us, to make us submit to their demands. Jordan Neely did not pass out from the chokehold. And we all know from common sense and experience that the chokehold is going to result in a loss of consciousness, then the person would die. The person being conscious and then dying later is something else. Same with George Floyd. A knee to the back of the neck doesn't stop you from breathing. How do we know this? Because George Floyd was yelling and talking. So clearly he could breathe, because you have to have air in your lung to be able to talk and yell. It's all common sense. It's all common sense. It's all in your face. But I know that emotions override logic. Emotions override truth. That's why they use propaganda. This is why propaganda is such a powerful tool, because propaganda will supersede facts, science, real science, truth, all of it. So common sense again tells us that when Jordan Neely, I don't know why I want to keep saying Peter Neely and Richard Penny. I don't know why. But when Daniel Penny released Jordan Neely from that chokehold, he was still conscious, which means that chokehold did not cause his death. Because we all know choking someone out means putting them out, putting them asleep, rendering them unconscious. I hate having to be the bad guy, but I have to be the bad guy because most people out there are too cowardly to follow the truth. Not dumb. Most folks aren't dumb. They're not stupid. Most people lack character. It takes character to follow the truth when everybody around you has pitchforks and tiki torches telling you that the lies are what you got to say. But let's continue. Let's continue. Let's continue. Let's see what the Bliggity's talking about.
Founder of Black Lives Matter Greater New York, I stand here heartbroken because I have to hug a father who knows that the murderer of his son will most likely go free, who has to look in the face of a jury that no matter the facts, no matter the expert witnesses, no matter the people yelling on that train that day to let Jordan go, you will kill him. They will not find a white man guilty of killing a black man in modern day America. This is no different than Jim Crow. This looks like a picture out of the picture book when you look at that anonymous jury We have baby boomers who were there during Jim Crow on this jury. We have young people who are looking at Daniel Penny as a hero. And what America is a hero, a killer. He didn't give a crap about Jordan. The medical examiner said Jordan turned purple. Yes, black people can turn purple when they're denied oxygen.
Who testified that that man turned purple? Give me one eyewitness. You see, she named somebody that wasn't there. Give me one eyewitness that said he's turning purple. Give me one person that said that man is turning purple. Not a single one. Isn't it funny how the person that wasn't there said he turned purple? Isn't it funny how the person that wasn't there got all the answers? I'm going to pause her for 1 second. Side effects of K2. Some of the reported effects of synthetic cannabinoids include improved mood, altered perception, delusional thinking, relaxation, confusion, hallucinations, extreme cases of anxiety and paranoia. So these are the side effects of K2. Improved mood, altered perception, delusional thinking, relaxation, confusion, hallucinations, extreme cases of anxiety and paranoia. According to the Drug Enforcement Administration, the DEA, K2 stays in a person's system for a long time, and the long-term effects of the drug are still not fully known. Individuals who have taken K2 have exhibited serious short-term symptoms and problems, including violent behavior, increased heart rate, suicidal tendencies, repeated vomiting. Now, this is from the American Addictions Center. So it's safe to say that Jordan Neely had been using K2 more than once, which means it was in his system, and on top of his mental state, his mental illness, he was taking a drug that basically not only exacerbated his mental illness, but also his health. So he was virtually a ticking time bomb because of his drug use and his mental state. Same with George Floyd, who had overdosed 6 weeks prior to him passing away. And his girlfriend admitted that on top of all the drugs that he was using, he was also using heroin because he overdosed on the heroin. Not the fentanyl, not the dope, the meth, not the pills. He overdosed on the heroin. So just again, George Floyd was taking a variety of drugs. And I'm sure that Neely was too. But we'll just stick with the K2.
Every lab report showed he died of asphyxiation. And that doesn't matter because they want to spare a white man the penalty of his crimes. America has not changed, and I hate to say it, it may never change. And people who keep asking, are we going to riot? Are we going to protest? Is that what's needed? Do glass have to break? Do cars have to burn for a black man to get justice in America? We can't show up with peace. We can't show up with facts. We can't show up with evidence and witness after witness. You give us nothing. And then you ask us to love this country. America hates black people, and we see it from that jury pool.
A black man was lynched, and his name was Jordan Neely.
Yes, this footage shown is backed by the Fair Use Doctrine for Education educational and commentary purposes. The owner of this channel, he is Blanchard, does not claim ownership of this content being reviewed. Thank you, Angel Wings. Dear YouTube, this footage is all over YouTube, and nobody's stuff's getting taken down and is able to be monetized. I should have the same luxury and the same leeway. If you disagree with my commentary or not following a mainstream media narrative, just tell me, and I'll surely change my rhetoric up. Well, I won't change it up, but I'll just... Anyway, so you have a BLM member, Hawk Newsom's sister. She started the BLM chapter of New York. Now, we know that BLM is a Marxist organization. We know it's a scam. We know it's not, it's fraudulent. We know they're backed by, ran by George Soros and the Democrats. We already know it's fake. But again, this is propaganda. White people get held accountable all the time. Remember, is a white young man that shot a school up here in Georgia, and his father went to jail too. He didn't even do it. Father went to jail. Derek Chauvin didn't kill George Floyd. He's in prison. So white folks get held accountable. I don't know what y'all are listening or watching, but it's obviously it's fantasy and fairy tale land, because white folks held accountable all the time. Black folks don't. Black folks don't. If Jordan Neely had killed Daniel Penny, he would have been a hero. If Jordan Neely, let's just switch the roles. Let it have been Daniel Penny going on the train and threatening passengers with a history of violence. Imagine the white guy going on the train with a history of violence, threatening passengers and saying, I don't care if I go to jail. I'm ready to end my life, for my life to be ended today. I don't care. And imagine if it was Jordan Neely that restrained Daniel Penny and he died. What would folks be saying about Jordan Neely? They'd be saying he's a hero. What would folks be saying about Jordan Neely if the roles were reversed? They would be saying that Jordan Neely was a hero. The same way they said that George Floyd was a martyr. And clearly, George Floyd did not die for the cause or on the behalf of black people. He was terrorizing the black community. He was selling drugs and using drugs. Remember, he held a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach in a home invasion. He said, where's the money and where's the dope? They made that guy a hero and a martyr. They made that guy a saint. Remember, he gets painted with the halo and the angel wings. He's immortalized. He's a figure seen as a positive light around the world. George Floyd, that criminal, that guy, that dope fiend, that guy. So we all know that if Jordan Neely had been the one to save the passengers from Daniel Penny, whole different story. He would have been getting celebrated. He would have been getting praised. And guess what? He would have never went to trial. He would have never went to trial. He would have had murals up. He would have had T-shirts. They would have said stuff like, heroes do exist in real life, and most of them are black. Like, they would have had all kind of stuff. So what she's saying is cap. It's 1,000% cap. But let's continue. Let's continue.
Racism is still alive and kicking in America. There's no other way to view this. Everyone has looked at the case, and those among you who say that Daniel Penny is innocent have racism and bias in your heart. If you look at the facts of this case, then you understand that Daniel Penny is guilty. But today, white supremacy got another victory. Today, the KKK, the Klansmen, the evil in America got another victory. They got that top charge dismissed. America shall continue to America and shall continue to place second-class status on black people.
So again, anytime there's a situation where there is a white person and a black person, the black person is automatically the victim, even if they are guilty or the culprit or the attacker. Now, I'm going to go to, because I saw my boy Club Rico. I didn't know this, but the cameraman, I just looked it up. The cameraman in the Ahmaud Arbery case, the guy that filmed it, the cameraman, he got 35 years in prison. The cameraman that filmed the Ahmaud Arbery situation, which was tragic, how does he get life? Think about that. In what situation would a black person filming the most heinous act, which they do, ever get life? How? So clearly we know that the system is very one-sided. It's very lopsided. William Roddy Bryan receives 35 years. Hold up. William Roddy Bryan received a 35-year federal sentence on Monday, August the 8th, for his role in Ahmaud Arbery's murder. He already received a life sentence in the state court with the possibility of parole. Following the ruling, Judge Gobi Wood said, "But let no one think that 420 months is a life sentence because you don't deserve a life sentence." Both state and federal judges gave him a lesser sentence than his co-defendants, Gregory and Travis McMichael. Bryan hopped in his truck and joined Travis and Gregory McMichael in chasing the victim. He blocked the trail and recorded the footage of Travis opening fire at Arbery at close range. Bryan's cell phone footage is what led to the arrest of the three men. Bryan's attorney, Pete Theodosian, requested a lesser sentence than his client's co-defendant, citing clear distinctions in his actions. He highlights Bryan's willingness to hand over the cell phone footage and claims Bryan's first sighting of Arbery was when the victim was already being chased and yelled to stop. Again, it is horrific that this man got life in prison. How can you block somebody's way if you're holding a cell phone? How can you block somebody's way on a street if you're holding a cell phone recording them? How do you get accused if you're filming after they already started chasing them? Again, horrible and tragic. Not justifying Ahmaud Arbery's death, but this notion that white folks aren't held accountable is an absolute lie. And I challenge anybody to challenge me on it. We can go case by case and see what happens when there is a white and black dynamic. I've shown videos on here of black folks with keys of cocaine in the trunk and get released on bond. $500 get out and delayed trial. Never going back to court. Black folks falsifying information on racial incidences, making false racial claims, no accountability, nothing. The one girl that yelled out, acted like she got kidnapped. Did she get in trouble? No. Did Juicy Smollett get in trouble? No. They don't get in trouble? Think about it. If they're telling you the system is racist, then how are they going to adequately hold black folks accountable? So my question is, how do you combat the system being racist? How do you combat the judicial system being racist? The lawyers, the judges, the jury, how do you combat the laws? How do you combat it? The only way to combat all of that system is to not hold black folks accountable, is to keep black folks from going to the system. I.e., Jordan Neely pushing folks on the track, out roaming free, assaulting old women, out roaming free, trying to abduct children, out roaming free. Do you see my point? If the system is racist, then the only way to protect black folks is to keep them from going to the system, i.e., do not hold them accountable. And again, we've established that the powers that be, the globalists, the Marxists, the communists, want to use the criminal element to terrorize the citizens of America. That way we go to the government and we beg for help. And the government say, okay, we'll step in and help you all. We're going to initiate martial law. Everybody locked down. They want complete control. The only thing standing in the way from you not having any rights and the globalists fully taking over is white people, not white liberals, God-fearing, conservative, patriotic white people. They're the only ones standing in the gap between all of this stuff. It's no other group doing it. It's them. If you look at any protest around the world against the Peter pandemic and all the mandates and all that stuff, it was white people coming together. All the nations of color complied with no problem. The white ones didn't. Get mad all you want, throw a fit, call me what you want to call me, but you can't prove me wrong. I saw the Bliggities lining up down the block to get them shots. I saw the Bliggities turn God's house, the church, into a place where you go and get the snake bite. The first people to shut down their doors for the Peter pandemic back in March was the black church. So again, you can get mad at me, but you can't prove me wrong. You can't prove me wrong. That's why they always attack me and not what I say. They'll always condemn me. They'll say he's this, he's that, but it won't address what I said. Because they know what I said is true. Let's continue. Let's continue.
May 1st, Jordan Neely was killed on a New York subway train. He was riding the train, he's unhoused, he's hungry, he needs money and food, and he's telling the world that he needs money and food. And instead of giving him help, an ex-Marine came from behind him, choked him out for 15 minutes until Jordan Neely lost his life. And while this ex-Marine, who was white, held him down, two people of color held his arms. This is what it means to be black in America. Instead of being supported, instead of being helped, we get viewed as a threat. Our bodies get read as non-human. And instead of being something that we invest in, we get seen as something to be disposed of. And in the aftermath of his killing, nothing happened. There was no accountability. There was no justice. Nothing happened except the killer was asked a few questions and allowed to go home. I'm not calling for a carceral response. I'm an abolitionist. But
so, Marc Lamont Hill just got on here and lied. There's no witness that stated Jordan Neely got on that train asking for food and help. He got on that train threatening people to do harm to them, and he said he did not care if his life ended. That's what he was doing. And he has a proven, verified criminal record of assaulting innocent people. The elderly, pushing folks on train tracks, beating people up, and also, oh, I forgot, trying to abduct children. That's Jordan Neely. He may have had a tragic upbringing. He may be mentally ill. He may have been traumatized, but he was a definite threat to society. That's why I tell you all that Black people lie. Black people lie because Black culture says it's okay to lie. So when you see Black folks on TV talking, 9.9 out of 10, they're lying. I'm sorry. I know it sounds bad to say. Black people lie. It is a cultural byproduct. Lying. You'll be hard pressed to find a Black person with a microphone in front of them telling the truth. Most Black folks y'all know will lie in a heartbeat about the simplest and most silly things. This man just got on here and said that Jordan Neely was on the train asking for food and help. It's a bold-faced lie. But guess what? He thinks that you all are stupid. He thinks that you all can't put two and two together. Do you think if that man was begging for help and food and Daniel Penny attacked him, that all them folks on that train wouldn't have jumped on Daniel Penny? Why do you all think nobody on that train jumped on Daniel Penny? Why not? An even better question is, why didn't y'all jump on Jordan Neely when he beat that old lady up? When Jordan Neely beat that old lady up, why didn't y'all jump him then? When he pushed somebody on the track, why didn't y'all jump on him then? When he tried to abduct a little girl, why didn't y'all jump on him then? I know why they get mad at me. I know why they get mad, because I tell the truth. Black folks' issue with me is that I don't lie. That's their issue. I tell the truth. It ain't my rhetoric. It's not what I'm saying. It's not how I'm saying. It's that I tell the truth. And don't nothing get obligatory more upset than a person that's going to tell the truth. Let's continue.
The fact that this is a deadlocked jury and we're here at all, it does not matter at this point, in my opinion, if Daniel Penny wins, because the process is the punishment. We're hoping that Daniel Penny,
life will never be the same again.
Yeah.
His life will never be the same. But even if he got a quick, not guilty verdict right away, that's good. And then a lot of people will be like, oh, okay, you'll be found not guilty. Short of that, the message sent to the average person is, if you try to help people, this is what your life will be.
Yeah. Well, there was this video that was viral like last year where a bunch of people are in a market.
Instagram, I will come right back because my time is running out, so I'll bring you all right back up. Just give me about 30 seconds. Give me 30 seconds, YouTube. I'm just starting this back up. But yeah, I mean, what he said is true. He said the process is the punishment, because the goal here is to keep white folks from jumping in. This is not. So again, this process message is not for all races. It's for white people. It's telling white people, you all trying to save folks is no longer tolerated. You all trying to make society better is no longer tolerated. That's what this is. This is not a message for the world. This is a message for white people in the world. We don't want you all trying to make things better. We want to push this global agenda. We want to allow the crime and criminal element to run rampant so that we can come in and save the day. There needs to be a problem for folks to listen to us.
No, the fact that this is a deadlocked jury and we're here at all, it does not matter at this point, in my opinion, if Daniel Penny wins, because the process is the punishment. We're hoping that Daniel
His life
Penny
will never be the same again.
Yeah.
His life will never be the same. But even if he got a quick, not guilty verdict right away, that's good. And then a lot of people will be like, oh, okay, you'll be found not guilty. Short of that, the message sent to the average person is, if you try to help people, this is what your life will be.
Yeah. Well, there was this video that was viral like last year where a bunch.
So again, this is still a part of the anti-white agenda. And the anti-white agenda, again, is the anti-God agenda. That is not saying that white people are God. That is saying that when it comes to society being held accountable, white people are going to do it. And so that automatically puts white people on the wrong end of the stick. Not all white people, just the ones that would dare stand up for what's right. Usually the Christian, patriotic, conservative white people. And so in this case right here, Jordan Neely was clearly a threat to society. It's clear. It's not even a question about it. It's not even a question. The question is to the white conservative or white patriot is, are you willing to have your life ruined to save people's lives who could care less about you? That's the question. Are you willing to have your life ruined for a bunch of people who will not do the same for you? That's what it's going to boil down to. Because you better believe if Jordan Neely was choking out Daniel Penny, none of this would have been happening. Jordan Neely would have been a hero. He would have had a TV special. He would have had endorsements. He would have been with all the rappers, all the entertainers. His whole life would have blew up. Remember that one time they found that crackhead, the black dude with the news anchor voice? Remember him? They gave him all that money. They gave him house, money, car, everything. And he turned out to be a straight up dope fiend. He threw money. These people saw a crackhead on the street, and because he was articulate, they gave him the world. And he threw literal feces in their face. I'm speaking metaphorically, but he threw feces in their face. So we know that if this was Jordan Neely that had choked out, didn't even choke him out, that had choked Daniel Penny, he would have been a hero. He would have been a hero. It wouldn't have been no trial. It wouldn't have been no court date. It wouldn't have been none of this. He would have had his own, he'd have been selling some kind of product called the Choke. It'd have been a cannabis product. He'd have making a kid. He'd been rich by now. So
This video was recorded in the Broadway Lafayette subway station in Manhattan last May 1st at 2:24 p.m. The woman filming, Yvette Rosario, has just witnessed a struggle in her subway car. The man in the white t-shirt
Now, you heard what she said as a witness. She says, oh, he's getting up. I'm out of here. So you saw her visibly shaking. You saw her visibly shaking. She said, oh, he's getting up. I'm out of here. So she was even afraid as he's being restrained. Now, they want you to believe he came on the train and said, please, kind ma'am, kind sir, could you spare me something to eat and something to drink? I was mighty hungry and I was mighty parched. Could you please help me, please? They want you to believe he came on the train like that. But he came on the train so threatening that even when he's restrained, the young girl is afraid and shaking.
Shirt being held on the floor is Jordan Neely. He is 30 years old, homeless, and diagnosed with schizophrenia. He boarded the train at the previous stop. Witnesses say Neely entered the car and immediately began threatening passengers, saying he was, quote, ready to die and would kill a motherfucker. Daniel Penny, a 24-year-old student and former Marine from Long Island, took Neely to the ground and put him in a chokehold. He's the blonde guy there, restraining Neely.
Now you see Neely communicating with them. His hands are up. He's communicating with them. So you see Neely is not unconscious. His hand literally up, which means he ain't choking this man. The man got his hand up. So he ain't unconscious.
Neely. These 6 minutes will change everything for both men. Neely will be rushed to the hospital and declared dead. Penny will go to a police precinct where his statement will kick off a legal case that's ongoing right now in Manhattan. It's one that could land him in prison for 15 years.
Let me go back to this beginning, though.
This video was recorded in the Broadway Lafayette subway station.
So this is somebody yelling out, need the cops, yo. This is for Jordan Neely. So people are around and saying, we need the police for this guy. Now watch this.
This video was recorded in the Broadway Lafayette subway station in Manhattan last May 1st at 2:24 p.m. The woman filming, Yvette Rosario, has just witnessed a struggle in her subway car.
Oh, he's getting up on it. Out of here.
So you heard what the witness said. She's visibly scared. She's shaking. And she says, oh, he's getting up. I'm out of here. She runs away. That's how afraid she was of a guy that was being restrained on the ground. And again, they want you to believe that he came in there begging for victuals.
Yep. I'm Detective McCarthy. I'm Detective Medina. I actually work here at Fifth Precinct. This is where you're at right now.
Cool.
How you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Okay. Very good. Very good. I'm doing well.
Yeah.
You served in the Marine Corps then?
I did, yes.
I served in the Marine Corps.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Got my little death before the sun.
There you go. Nice, man.
What you doing? What was your MOS in the
I was in 0351.
I was an 0331.
Oh, cool. Michigan.
Now, black people are claiming that this interrogation was wrong. What interrogation do the police come in just talking crazy? We can pull up millions of videos of the police talking to black folks the same way, trying to get them to lower their guard. And the cops want a confession. They're not going to come in there. We know you did it. That's the movies. That ain't real life. How they're talking to Daniel Penny is normal. Black folk, man, look how they get it up to her. Look how they look at like they buddy. Look at this, is crazy. It's just crazy that the most influential group in the world of people, black people in America, are the most influential group of people in the world, are the least informed. Think about what I'm telling you all. The group of people that can influence the entire planet don't know anything. That ain't scary to y'all? That's not scary? That the group of people being used to push all of this stuff don't know anything.
It's platoon, nice, man.
I was not military, so I don't know what that stuff is.
It's like another language.
3rd Battalion, 6th Marines.
Okay, there you go, 36.
96 to 2000.
Nice, man.
2 med floats, did my thing, and then I ended up here. Now I got close to 22 years here now, man.
Good pension coming up.
Yeah, man. I grew up in Queens as well.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
So again, this is normal. This is normal. Now keep in mind, when the cops showed up, no witness is saying that he killed this man. No witness went to the cops and said, yeah, that guy right there did this. Nobody said that. None of the witnesses said that this guy killed that man, that this guy was a menace. Nobody said that. All them folks on that train had an opportunity to tell the police, hey, that guy's in the wrong. Nobody did. Why didn't anybody tell the police when they showed up that Daniel Penny was in the wrong? Why didn't anybody on the train, why didn't they all come together and say that guy is wrong, the black guy was in the right? White guy wrong, black guy right. Why are the people on the train telling the police that that guy stepped in and saved the day? Oh, okay. Okay, let's fast forward.
Kill everyone. Something
Go to
that,
jail forever.
Yeah.
I'm willing to.
Is it at that point that's when you get up and decide to put him in the hold? Because it looks like a sleeper hold to me. Like
Right,
something
yeah.
similar to like.
I'm not trying to kill the guy.
Right.
I'm just trying to de-escalate the situation, right?
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
Daniel, not a sleep hold, but would you say what you put him in, because I do take Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu myself, I've been taking it for many years, would you say that was considered a rear naked choke?
I mean, I don't train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so I'm not.
But in the Marine Corps, is that considered a rear naked choke?
I don't know what you would call that, no. I'm not sure.
Because I noticed that you put it around my neck and then you closed from behind.
I would have had it on the back of his head. I didn't press forward.
You didn't press forward.
I noticed when you were doing it to him too, you went to go put your legs around him.
I did.
Yeah.
I held my legs because if you flop it around and stuff, you can easily get out of that if you don't lock it.
You did that to control him in place.
That's correct.
Explain to me what made you want to get involved. What made you?
Well, I mean, he's threatening people,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not confrontational. I'm not a confrontational guy. In the Marine Corps, I felt the need to step in.
Yeah.
There's women, children on the train. I'm sure there's ladies there that will vouch for me, and
He felt like he was threatening other people. He felt like
oh, he was absolutely.
Did you feel like someone's life was in danger?
100%.
Okay. Did anybody else hold him down?
Yeah, there was 2 other guys that were helping. As soon as those guys came in and were holding his arms, then I kind of let up.
You let him go.
That's correct.
And when you let him go, what happened? What do you remember? Was he still moving? Was he still saying anything?
Yeah, he was moving a bit, and I was worried that he would go again. So I was telling those guys, hey, make sure you keep hanging on to him.
So the 3 of you holding him down, or just the 2 other gentlemen?
Just the 2 other guys were hanging on to him.
And how long did they hold him down? They were holding him down by the arms?
Yeah, by the arms.
How long were they holding him down before the cops got there?
Like I said, man, it's you're exerting energy at
The
that point.
adrenaline is going, right?
Right.
It's like fight or flight, everything's going,
That's correct.
You lose track of time.
Yep.
I understand. At any given time, did you reapply any kind of holds on him once you let him go, or
No,
that was it?
no.
You got
That was it.
And what do you remember from there? Explain to me.
Just the cops came and that was it. I got him.
Okay. When the cops came, what was he doing?
He was just on the ground.
Was he saying anything? Was he? No.
I'm trying to all these people are filming and shit and they're I don't know.
Okay. Anything else you remember, Daniel, from this interaction? Anything else that was said? Anybody else say anything to you?
I mean, everyone on the train was. I asked a few people hey, stick around when the cops come, just so, and they were like, yeah, well, and the people were thanking me and stuff because he was I wasn't like I'm not trying to. I'm like I said, I'm not a confrontational guy,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not out here like trying to attack people. You know, it's not me, not how I was trained.
Yeah.
You know, I just felt the need that this guy would.
So again, so you heard him talking, and keep in mind that this guy is 24 years old. Like he's 24. I don't care what y'all think or what you all believe. He's 24 years old. 6 years prior to this, he was in high school. He was in the Marine Corps. He's been out in the Marine Corps for 2 years. He's 24 years old. So again, and what he says makes sense. Once they grabbed him, then I loosened up because it makes sense. What he says makes perfect sense. And the fact that people came to help him lets you know the guy was on the train threatening people. That's why the one cop says, so you thought he was threatening people? He said, no, he actually was. He most definitely was. And again, this person has a history of being violent. So that means that his threats are real. He's not a talker, he's a doer. So if a person gets on a train that's already has a violent history, that's already schizophrenic, that's already on drugs, and they say, I ain't prepared to die today, take them serious. Because what the media wants, what black folks want, what the liberals want, what the globalists want, what the communists want is for him to take somebody's life so they can blame white folks anyway. However this plays out, they're going to blame white people. So if he kills somebody, they're going to say the system failed him. The passengers failed him. New York City Transit failed him. And if his life is taken, which it wasn't, because he probably died from the drugs, when his life is ended, now it's still the white people's fault. So my point is, no matter how a scenario plays out, they're going to blame white people. This is why it's almost, see, now you start realizing why society was the way it was, why there was a separation. Because I don't blame white people for not wanting to be around this. I don't blame white folks for not wanting to be around this madness. I don't. It's not racism. Could you imagine trying to help some people and they want you to get the consequence of the criminal's actions? No. No. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Not me. No matter what the scenario is, they're still going to blame white people. Think about that. They're still going to blame white people. Still. Let's continue. But you heard the interrogation. Did the police sound like they were on his side? No. The police were giving a very non-biased investigation. They were asking him a lot of questions, very non-biased investigation.
Yeah. Okay, what did you see? What did I see? I was sitting over there, I heard the young man that's on the floor saying, you know, hey, I'm willing to die, you know? I'll do anything, I'm willing to die, I'll go to jail, I don't care. And he was saying it so loud that everyone turned around. So this young man, he got belligerent and he tackled him down. Oh. The one that just passed away in the brown jacket, the one that just went past.
So you heard a queen. Now it's funny. They got a whole campaign saying, listen to black women. They got a whole campaign saying, when in doubt, go find a black woman. There's a literal campaign that says, listen to black women, and when in doubt, go find a black woman. So that's what they did. They went and found a black woman. So why isn't this black woman the number one person in the case. Why isn't this black woman the number one person in the case? Y'all built the whole campaign on saying, listen to black women, go find a black woman, protect black women, all the rhetoric behind black women. But when the black woman is speaking in this case, she's nowhere to be seen. They ain't put her up nowhere. Isn't that strange?
Okay, what did you see?
What did I see? I was sitting over there, I heard the young man that's on the floor saying, you know, hey, I'm willing to die, you know? I'll do anything. I'm willing to die. I'll go to jail. I don't care. I don't care. And he was saying it so loud that everyone turned around. So this young man, he got belligerent and he tackled him down. The one that just passed away in the brown jacket, the one that just went past.
I don't know if she testified. I don't know who that even is. I don't know. But I'm just going to say that when it was a black woman telling y'all exactly what happened.
I was sitting over there, I heard the young man that's on the floor saying, you know, hey, I'm willing to die, you know? I'll do anything. I'm willing to die. I'll go to jail. I don't care.
So when the black woman is speaking in this situation, you ain't seen no black person quote what she said or bring her up. Now, if she had said that white man was racist, that video would have been viral. It would have been used in court. Black folks would have been, if she had said that white man was racist, she would have been the star witness of the case. But the fact that she told the truth, she goes into the depths of obscurity, never to be heard of again. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying.
Joining me now is Misty Maris, trial attorney and legal analyst. Good to see you, Misty. What do you make of the jurors' requests of what they're asking to see again?
Well, the jurors seem to be looking at the critical issues in the case because first they asked to see the body cam footage, first and the video of the incident, then followed by the medical examiner's cross-examination, interestingly enough, relating specifically to testimony regarding her conclusion about the cause of death and also where she testified that she wasn't sure how much pressure Penny was exerting, that she couldn't tell from her examination. So to me, the jurors seem to be very focused on that causation argument.
That the defense is making that maybe, because that's sort of the out, right?
Right.
For the jury, really, to say, look, we can't say beyond a reasonable doubt that this was necessarily the cause of death because there were some other underlying issues and drugs, et cetera.
Right, because if the jury was going to make the determination that this was justified, they don't have to get to causation because he acted in self-defense.
Right.
And they would have made that conclusion, and they could still. We don't know, because we don't know if there's a split in the jury room. But the evidence that they looked at today and that cross-examination specifically led me to believe that causation was an issue in that jury room.
Now, look, outside the courthouse, there's a bunch of Black Lives Matter people protesting, and the family of Jordan Neely has been regularly holding press conferences. This is some of it.
I believe in the prosecution. I believe that I will get a justice is a penalty award for one's acts or deeds. I think I'll get a reward for it by getting the justice, and I think that he'll get the penalty.
I don't see how this jury is going to convict. I don't usually say things this definitively. I will be shocked if the jury convicts. I'm not saying there can't be a hung jury. I'll be shocked if the jury convicts. You?
I would be absolutely shocked if they convicted on manslaughter. I could really see a hung jury here. I don't think we're going to see a manslaughter.
But how about on the other? How about on the...
Well, it's a lesser included, Dan.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you have a lesser included on that verdict sheet, especially if the jurors are grappling with causation specifically as opposed to justification, I could see it. Sometimes it's almost seen as a compromise.
Well, that's for sure. But three or four of these jurors have felt threatened on the subway, and more than half of them have had issues on the subway. I mean, as a regular subway rider, I'm one of those people who's like, I want a Daniel Penny sitting next to me. That's exactly what the defense argued.
Understood. And you know what?
Yeah.
I'm a New Yorker too,
Yeah, yeah.
so I ride the subway all the time. We know that there's issues, and I think the defense did a great job. But
so again, somebody said that the witness, she should have fought her way to the front to be heard. Do you honestly believe that if she fought her way to the front, she would be heard? She's a black, she has the most damning testimony against the prosecution. It's a black woman saying that the white guy saved the day. It's a black woman telling you plain as day what happened, clear, concise, everything. So they're not gonna let her speak. They're just not gonna do it. So again, we know this is a very one-sided, very propagandized situation. Anytime a situation with a black person and a white person, whether the black person is guilty or not, it doesn't matter. It's automatically assumed that the white person is in the wrong. This is how it is. His family wants to sue. You heard the uncle just say he wanted a reward. They want money, man. They want money. That boy got killed. His mother got killed by her boyfriend, a black man. They got all the smoke for this white man, all the smoke. But when that man was abusing his mother, where were they at? When that man, her boyfriend, was abusing her, where was the family then? Where was BLM then? Where was the uncle then with the furry Kango and the fake Gucci with the Poochie on? Where was the uncle with the Kango hat and the Poochie on? Where was he then? It's funny how all these folks got all this smoke for white people, but black folks terrorizing black folks every day, and moms is the word.
to that end, I think that sometimes when the jurors are grappling with this and maybe can't come to a consensus, if there's something lesser that they can select, it can happen.
No, you're right.
Although I think you talk to people in New York about this case, and that's probably very reflective of the jury room. There's a huge dichotomy of opinions.
Right, but you need 12 people unanimously to convict, which is why I feel like I'm not even saying something controversial when I say they won't unanimously convict. Hung jury, maybe. That's a real possibility. Acquittal, far more likely than a conviction. To me.
And then you got to think about, somebody mentioned it, imagine they make the jury keep going back into deliberation until they come up with a guilty verdict. Like imagine y'all say he's not guilty and they say, nah, go back. Like they make you convict him. Or if he's black, they make you find him not guilty. There is an anti-white agenda.
Hey, but look, I've been wrong before. It doesn't happen that often, but you know, I am. I mean, you know, but I am wrong sometimes. Misty Maris, good to see you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Still ahead.
Somebody said it's not free speech in here. Why isn't it? Right, King Cole. It's the court of public opinion. Well, Ona, you are free to comment, Ona. You don't, it's free speech in here. I'm not like YouTube. I'm not going to censor you. I'm not going to demonetize you. I'm not going to shut you down. I'm not going to say you can't speak. Ona, you're able to speak here. So, Ona, speak your mind. Don't be afraid. There's nobody on coming at you like a wolf unless you're saying something crazy. I guarantee it. So whatever statement you're going to make, I guarantee if folks get on you, it's going to be some foolishness. I guarantee it. If you say something and the folks in this group get on you, it's because what you're saying is foolish. I guarantee it. So go ahead and make your statement. Base in your face, I agree. Base in your face said whites consented to the anti-white agenda when they handed over the country to their Jewish Zionist masters. Hey, I can't argue that, because much of what we see is this whole social justice movement, this whole civil rights movement, this whole human rights movement, this whole, let's help the Bliggity movement is overly represented by Jewish people. It is, and it's just a fact. So, Ona, if you want to make a statement, Ona, make your statement. If you make a definitive statement, be able to back it up with some facts. Be able to back it up with some facts. Let's continue.
Records are criminalized homelessness. A few of them are genuinely dangerous assaults.
Yeah.
Right? Which happens. We've all seen it happen. Some of us have experienced it. And the reality is, this wasn't going to end well for him no matter what.
You see how she just glosses over the serious assault? Like, do you see how these people minimize someone trying to kill somebody? Like, she just skipped over how dangerous he is. Just skip right over it. And if somebody did it to her, she'd want them in prison forever. If somebody did what Jordan Neely did to her, she'd want him in prison forever. She just skipped over it. Trying to kill somebody, it don't matter. Kidnap a child, it ain't that bad.
A lot of his records are criminalized homelessness. A few of them are genuinely dangerous assaults.
Yeah.
Right? Which happens. We've all seen it happen. Some of us have experienced it. And the reality is, this wasn't going to end well for him no matter what. He had no chance in this. There's nothing. We have no support system for people who have mental health issues in this country. We have nothing. We have nothing. The things we have are, if not inadequate, they are traumatizing.
Right.
That is a bold-faced lie. You are going to get the most help for your mental illness in America. I don't know what y'all are comparing this to. America, when it comes to mental health, America's #1 in the world. In them other countries, they don't care about you being mentally ill. So I don't know what she's comparing it to. What country have you seen that handles mental illness adequately for you to make this statement? None. There are countless amounts of services and resources for the mentally ill. It just is. So what she's saying is an outright, bold-faced lie. And we got to start saying this. You're lying. We've gotten away from saying the devil is a lie. They don't even say it anymore. That used to be a popular statement, the devil is a lie. They don't even say it anymore because people are lying so much. Saying the devil is a lie lets somebody know that you are under the behest of Satan because you are lying. And this young lady is telling a bold-faced lie. I'm going to start over.
Records are criminalized homelessness. A few of them are genuinely dangerous assaults.
Yeah.
Right? Which happens. We've all seen it happen. Some of us have experienced it. And the reality is, this wasn't going to end well for him no matter what. He had no chance in this. There's nothing. We have no support system for people who have mental health issues in this country. We have nothing. We have nothing. The things we have are, if not inadequate, they are traumatizing.
Right.
And they just spit you back out in the street. He would have continued this cycle of being arrested and traumatized, thrown back on the street with less than he had before, and criminalized for being out in the streets, even without the mental health issues.
Right.
So we literally have set up a system where a kid like him, who through no fault of his own, is now in a state where he is there's nothing short of a miracle that can help him. They raised like $30,000 for him. But guess what? He wasn't gonna make $30,000 if he was alive.
Exactly.
We only do that if they die. And to assuage our own guilt. Let's be real. Where's that money going?
That's all it is.
That's right.
This is the systemic ravages of capitalism,
Yes.
neoliberalism in this country.
Yes.
And this is what up. And we have all conspired and everything is circumstances have converged for that moment where that kid got strangled on the train.
So you see, that train incident, they tied it back to capitalism. How is it capitalism? Because the man got on the train threatening to take people's lives. Her solution is take power from white people. So when these people are talking, their solution is to take the power from white people. Really what they mean is eradicate the middle class. They're not talking about the liberal billionaires that own all this stuff, or liberal Jews and liberal whites. They're not talking about them. They're not talking about the poor whites either. They're talking about the middle class, middle America, patriotic, Christian white people. That's what they're talking about. They want them eradicated. So just know that all of their solutions are on the backs of middle America, the middle class white family. That's their solution. That's why he tied it back to capitalism, which is insanity. Ona said, I hate this has been made about race. But the question is, Ona, who made it about race? Who made it about race? Blanche, Ona was on the last chat simping for Floyd and Jordan, then got into it with people who didn't agree and started slinging insults, and we shut her down. So listen now, Ona said that white people made it about race. See what I mean? And this is what I mean. And this is what I mean by being dishonest. Who is this magical white folks that made it about? I don't see white people outside protesting saying that it's racism. I don't see white people giving press conferences being called this the KKK. Black folks are saying that. And this is what I mean. That's why I told Ona, if the folks on this post get on you, it's because you're going to be saying something foolish. And the first thing they said was that white people made it about race. Every video I pulled up is literally black folks saying it's about race over and over again. Not one white person I pulled up said it was about race. See, look, it was mainly all white lads just lying. This has been about race from the beginning. How do we know? Because the next day, black people were protesting outside of the station. The very next day after the incident, black people were protesting about racism. Black Lives Matter right after the event happened, the very next day. So don't get on here and lie and tell me that it was white folks that made it about race. This is what I mean. This is why folks get on you, because you go into spaces where people are honest and have a brain, and you come in here with propaganda. See, look, I saw men just lying. This is why, listen, this is why I don't debate with them. This is why I don't talk with them. This is why I don't do nothing. There is not one white protest that happened for Daniel Penny. Not a single one. There's not a single white protest. Now think about you saying that white people donated to him. Why wouldn't they? A young white man's being accused of being racist and murdering somebody. Why would they donate? Why would they not help him out? Think about what you're saying. The young man is being falsely accused of being racist and being a murderer. And you want white people to just sit back. Now, these same white people that are helping the folks in Haiti, helping the folks in Africa, wherever there's a problem, white folks show up. You want them to sit back when this Marine with no criminal record is being demonized by the media. You are absolutely insane. And black folks donating to Neely. George Floyd's daughter got how much? $25 million? What are you talking about? What are we even talking about? They just get on here and lie. I don't listen to them. Ona is lying. She's lying. If you go to their social media, they ain't got one video of these white protests. They ain't got no video to substantiate what they're saying that they saw with their own eyes. Nothing. They have no facts, no proof, no nothing. They just talking. This woman said that white folks made it about race. It's just lie. I don't listen to them. I don't listen to them. I don't listen to them. Something just ain't right. Protest, Jordan Neely protests, Manhattan. Protests in New York over death of Jordan Neely. Protesters call for justice after man killed in chokehold. Protests overnight over subway killing. Protest. So my bad. They didn't protest the next day. They protested that night talking about racism. So my case is closed. You lost, Ona. You lost. We can go to, I can share the screen with you right now. Let's share so she can see. He or she or them or they, whatever you are. Probably a them or a they. Let's just, we ain't gonna click on them. We gonna go through them. We'll go through them. Here we go. 1 year ago, New Yorkers protest the killing of Jordan Neely. Jordan Neely protests in Manhattan. Protests in New York over Neely. Protests call for justice. Protests overnight. Protests. Come on, man. What we talking about? I told y'all, black people lie. I'm not just saying that. I'm telling y'all, they'll come on a platform and just lie. Now, I just proved, now I've been told, pull the video up. And there's multiple videos of protests starting that night. So that means that night, black folks established that it was racism that night. Before the white folks even got a hold to it, black folks said, no, that night is racism. They lie. They lie. They tell a bold-faced lie. Let's continue. They out here blaming capitalism.
On the news, that guy Daniel Penny, who might be convicted for murder for protecting a whole subway car.
He's a Marine veteran accused of killing a homeless man named Jordan Neely.
If some white people were protesting for Daniel Penny, it would be front page news. If white people were protesting for Daniel Penny, they would say it was a Klan rally. They would say it was white supremacists. This is how detached these folks are. There's no common sense or logic. Zero. So I typed in protest for Daniel Penny. One video came up, and it's a bunch of veterans, and it said some counter protesters arrested after rally for Daniel Penny. This is after they're called counter protesters because they were protesting the protests. Police arrest protesters for disrupting racist pro-Daniel Penny rally. Again, I told you. It's a bunch of veterans. Let me share the screen so you can see it. We're going to share the screen. I'm going to share the screen for you so you can see. What you see right here is a counter protest. That means they were and not even it's really a rally because they're not protesting. This ain't a protest. This veterans. They're counter protesting the protest. So that means they're only responding to what the Bligeties did. They didn't initiate this. They're saying, wait a minute, y'all are accusing this man of being racist and a murderer. We're going to stand behind him. Not the same thing. Not the same thing. So again, it's easy to disprove you all because stuff's already out there. And they called the rally racist. A bunch of veterans getting together. See, pro Daniel Penny rally. So again, who made it about race? Who made it about race? Case closed. The defense rests, Your Honor. Y'all lucky I'm not a lawyer. Woo. But it wouldn't matter because this one's so corrupt. So we already shut Ona down. Ona just got shut down easy. It ain't hard because they lied. You're never going to be able to defeat the truth, ever. A liar will never win.
On the news, that guy Daniel Penny, who might be convicted for murder for protecting a whole subway car.
He's a Marine veteran accused of killing a homeless man named Jordan Neely in a chokehold.
This guy, he came on the subway. He's a Michael Jackson impersonator. And I used to see him all the time. And this guy put him in a headlock because he threatened to kill everybody. So Daniel put him in a headlock. Later on, he died. First of all, no one's talking about this. Not the best Michael Jackson impersonator, okay? Then I found out he was once arrested for trying to kidnap and run away with a 7-year-old boy. I was like, actually a pretty good Michael Jackson impersonator. Maybe the best Michael Jackson impersonator.
So, should Daniel Penny be charged? Absolutely not. Absolutely not with anything. You see, the problem is that the intent behind all of this is satanic and demonic. They're waiting for this guy to kill somebody or kidnap a child and kill them. That's what they want. This man was roaming around the city free after he had beat up an old lady, pushed somebody on the tracks, and tried to kidnap a child. And that's just what we know. He had over 40-something arrests. That's just what we know. That's just what we know. Matter of fact, let me pull up Jordan Neely's arrest record to see if he really posed a threat. If we can even find it. If we can even find it. Neely had an extensive criminal record, including 42 arrests on charges, including petty larceny, jumping subway turnstiles, theft, and 3 unprovoked assaults on women in the subway between 2019 and 2021. 3 unprovoked assaults on women. So you want this person, and this I let you know how heartless the Bliggities are heartless. You want this man that has assaulted 3 women for no reason, innocent women, one we know being elderly. You want him to be able to roam free and terrorize, but you want Daniel Penny to be locked up. The Bliggities are, I tell you, their heart is dark. It's black. It's cold. A literal menace to society, and they want him roaming free. Nicodemus said 42, that's it. Well, you know, a lot of times, Nicodemus, they probably ask first, you want to press charges? They probably say, you know, it's just, come on, we know how this works. We know how this works.
Asked Jordan Neely if he needed help. He choked him to death. If he was a hero, he would have grabbed him and escorted him off the train. He didn't grab him and escort him off the train. He choked him to death. If he was a hero, he would have let go of the chokehold 30 seconds after they pulled into the train station. Why? Because 30 seconds after they pulled into the train station, all of the people were off the subway. Danny Penny lied to the police and said he released the chokehold as soon as other people came to help. We know that that was a lie. Danny Penny told police that he released the chokehold in 2 seconds. We know that was a lie.
So again, you know, black folks struggle with context. So holding someone and choking them are 2 different things. So having my arm around your neck is not choking you. This is not choking you. I have to actually apply the pressure for it to be a choke. What he said was he released the pressure and that he had his arm on the back of his head. That's what he said. So again, for the back of the class, when y'all went to public school and you failed, when me putting my arms around your neck is not choking. Pressure has to be applied for it to be a choke. I have to apply pressure for it to be a choke. Just me doing this isn't a choke. Hope we're clear on that. And this is Hawk Big Bone Newsom, again, spewing lies. Where that BLM money at, Hawk? Where that BLM money at? Mr. Hawk Newsom, why weren't you out there protesting against the Peter pandemic, against the mandates? Why wasn't Hawk Newsom out there protesting against the mandates in New York? Why wasn't Hawk Newsom and BLM protesting for all the black folks that lost their job so they don't want to get the snake bite? Where was BLM then? Why didn't BLM go against the government when the government said we're going to issue these mandates? Where was Black Power then? I know where it was. Somebody forgot to pay the bill. Where was Black Lives Matter when the folk was getting terrorized by these mandates and these snake bites? Where was Black Lives Matter? They were nowhere to be found. Bunch of cowards. Bunch of cowards. Bunch of cowards. Let's look up real quick what happened on the train in Philadelphia. On October 13th, 2021, a passenger was sexually assaulted by another rider on a train running on SEPTA's Market Frankfurt line in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The incident gained international attention due to the lack of calls to authorities, despite several bystanders around the area allowing the assault to carry on for over 30 minutes until an off-duty SEPTA employee reported the incident, resulting in the SPTA's swift arrest of the suspect. Now let's see something real quick. Let's see. Here we go. Now let me ask y'all a question. Now, based on the nature of this sexual assault on the train and folks watching it take place for 30 minutes and few calls to the police and nobody stepping in and folks pulling their phone out, my question is, what is the race of these people? I'm going to give you the scenario again. A young woman's unconscious. She's being sexually assaulted by a man for 30 minutes on a train. The passengers don't intervene. They don't say anything. They pull their phones out and film, and they don't call the police. An off-duty train worker has to be the one to call the police. So what is the race of the people that would do something like that? Since we know about the races of people so well, what is the race of the people that would allow that to happen? Somebody said the Bliggities. Shelly Day said black. Doug Johnson said no snitching allowed. Okay, let's see the race. Well, let me finish the incident. Let me finish reading it. Instagram, I'm going to bring you all back in 1 second because my time is running out. Let me bring you all back in 30 seconds. Okay, let me finish reading this real quick. I'm gonna start over. On October 13, 2021, a passenger was sexually assaulted by another rider on a train running on SEPTA's Market Frankford line in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This incident gained international attention due to the lack of calls to authorities, despite several bystanders around the area allowing the assault to carry on for over 30 minutes until an off-duty SEPTA employee reported the incident, resulting in the SEPTA's swift arrest of the suspect. Incident. At around 9:20 p.m., 34-year-old Fiston M. Ngoy, an often homeless individual and Congolese-born illegal immigrant from Philadelphia, began sexually harassing a woman sitting next to him on a Market Frankford line train. This continued for about 30 minutes, with the woman repeatedly pushing Ngoy off her until he ripped her pants down at 9:53 p.m. and raped her for 6 minutes. According to SEPTA surveillance video, there were several bystanders witnessing the incident, even holding up their cell phones during the assault and failing to alert authorities or stop the assault until one off-duty employee called 911 after boarding the train and noticing something wasn't right. After the initial 911 call, a separate security officer boarded the train when it arrived at the 69th Street Transit Center, arresting Ngoy for the assault after pulling him off the victim. According to SEPTA General Manager Leslie Richards, the arrest occurred 3 minutes after the initial 911 call. Investigators were able to charge Ngoy with rape, sexual assault, and aggravated indecent assault without consent after viewing the video recording, holding him at the Delaware County Jail with bail set at $180,000. During Ngoy's initial court proceedings in November, he claimed it was a consensual act, but the victim stated that was not the case, and that she had been drinking before boarding the train. She testified in court that she had repeatedly attempted to push Ngoy off her until she blacked out. Several scholars and social workers cite this incident as an example of bystander effect. The social worker Kelly Erickson, offering the witnesses, did not know what to do, and they were maybe afraid that they'll make things worse by intervening. Roy Peter Clark of the Poynter Institute compared the SEPTA incident to the murder of Kitty Genovese, which also saw the press push an overly sensationalized narrative. He opined that in the SEPTA case, the narrative painted the surrounding passengers in a bad light, which may have been magnified by the inclement weather, as well as COVID-19 pandemic and its effects on the economy and society. University of Miami criminologist Alexis Piquero offers several possible explanations of why witnesses failed to intervene, including assuming someone else would step in or fear retaliation from the perpetrator. So in other words, what they did was justify Black people not stepping in. What they did was justify why Black folks did not step in, and they watched that woman get SA'd. Now, it'd be different if they didn't pull their phones out. So they weren't afraid if they had their phones recording. Now, imagine all of these psychologists and doctors and criminologists coming together to not make Black folks look bad because they watched a young lady get sexually assaulted for 30 minutes. They watched her struggle to get this man off of her. They watched her pushing him away. They didn't do nothing. So imagine these psychologists, criminologists, these doctors, these experts coming together to say, oh, Black folks were afraid. They didn't know what to do, even though they were filming it. Oh, Black folks were afraid to know what to do because of the pandemic. How disgusting is that? How disgusting and utterly deplorable is that? And you all want me to sit on my platform and not address it. You all want me to sit on my platform and not address that a train full of Black folks watched another young Black girl get assaulted for 30 minutes sexually, penetration for 6 minutes, as she lay unconscious. You want me to sit here and let you all gloss over it and focus on Daniel Penny? You are out of your mind. You are out of your mind. A train full of bliggity did nothing. In any crisis situation, what you will find is that Black folks will do nothing. If you are drowning, you better be around some white folks. If you're in a burning building, better be white folks present. If you are in any kind of danger, hanging off a cliff, any kind of danger, you better hope there's some white folks around. Because if Black folks are around you, they're going to watch you die. It's disgusting. Now let's see who the person was. Who did it? Let's see who it was. Man pleads guilty to raping unconscious woman on Market Frankfurt line gets 7 to 14 years in prison. Gets 7 to 14 years in prison. And you all want to convince me that the justice system is purposefully against black people, intentionally against black people, set up and designed to keep black folks down. And this man got 7 to 14 years. How disgusting is this? Did I tell you all? They don't want to see black folks held accountable. I told y'all this. Can you imagine your child? Could you imagine yourself, this happening to you, and the man gets 7 to 14 years, and you know he get out in 7 years? And you know he get out in 7 years. So imagine a man getting 7 years. Imagine a man getting 7 years for doing this. Imagine it's 2004 by 2005 right now. So he's almost served 4 years. So this man will be getting out in 3 years. Imagine this man getting out within 3 years. This is disgusting. And the psychologists, the doctors, the criminologists, the experts all came in to defend the behavior of black folks that watched this took place on that train. Now let's flip it. Let's imagine if it was a train full of white people and this guy did this. First of all, you know that white folks would have stepped in. We know that. We know that white folks would have stepped in. That's the first thing. But if they didn't, what would the media be saying about a train full of white people that watched a young lady get sexually assaulted? I'll take it a step further. Not only would the media demonize them, but they would all be brought up on charges. These people pulled their phone out and recorded it, and they weren't brought up on charges. These people pulled their phone out, and they weren't brought up on any charges. Could you imagine if some white people on a train pulled their phone out and watched a young black girl get sexually assaulted? Could you imagine the backlash that would cause? Could you imagine the protests? Could you imagine Ben Crump? Could you imagine the lawsuits? Could you imagine Biden and Kamala Harris? Like, could you imagine the Democrats? Like, could you imagine what the backlash would have been if it was a train full of white folks that watched not just a black person doing it to a black person? It could have been two white people. It could have been all white, and it would have been outrage. There is no scenario where those white passengers get off. None. Everybody that pulled their phone out will be in prison right now, and you know it. But the fact that it was obligatory, the fact that it was obligatories, at the end of all of this, a young lady is traumatized for the rest of her life, and this guy only gets 7 years, and you got some obligatories with that video on their phone showing their friends. I don't want to hear nothing about racism. Nothing. Nothing. Thank you, Shelly Day, for the super sticker. Agree Blanche, or super chat. Agree Blanche. No accountability for their crimes. Thank you, Miss Shelly Day. Thank you, Cruise Missile. Always support. Thank you so much. Lecter Honey, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And 02122, borrow a penny is diabolical. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you, Angel Wings, for moderating. Thank you so much. You all give Angel Wings a hand. Thank you, Agadas Navi, for moderating. Give her a hand. And thank y'all for participating in this live today. Listen, I love y'all. I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday. And I will see you all on Tuesday. Thank y'all so much. Love y'all.